Hello. Welcome back to part two of our four-part series on the mysterious death of George Reeves. We're gonna pretend y'all didn't see me looking like a complete idiot just for a minute now. But anyway, this is the True Crime Lounge podcast where we talk true crime. Um, Today we're gonna, as I said, for part two, we are gonna be talking about Going with the Wind, After the War, Superman, and Daily Planet. So, we probably know George Reeves was best known for his roles in TV's Superman. But before I go into that, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe. Help a girl out here. But he was best known for his role as Superman, but he had a lengthy resume for more than a decade before he was offered a high visibility role. In 1939, he was cast as Stuart Tarleton, one half of a pair of a twin brothers competing with many other suitors for the hand in the dazzling Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. Now, it was it was a relatively minor role in the opening scene on the marathon production, but it served as the springboard for his career in the newly surnamed George Reeves. Now, although the next few years he would flirt with true stardom in such pictures as So Proudly He Held, along with uh, three of the greatest that era, Claudette Colbert, Veronica Lake, and Paulette Goddard. Now, the term matinee idol was also very much in vogue in the time that Reeves was well on his way to becoming one. His 6'1" was his 6'1" inch muscular build and stunning good looks garnered him much attention for his film goers, especially the ladies that um even though he was married and theoretically ineligible, however, World War II intervened and he enlisted as the Army Air Corps, where his acting skills kept him out of combat and busy making training films. He has also acted in the patriotic stage productions of Wing Victory on Broadway. So, now let's talk about So Proudly We Held. Well, after the war, he would struggle to get film acting roles back on track. Although he was contracted with Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, and Paramount, three of the giant studios at the time in Hollywood, he would never achieve true stardom on the large screen. He starred in a few highly acclaimed features like The Adventures of Sword Galahad, and he was even um in which he had even given the title role. However, most of his roles in the post-war years were a bit in parts in B movies, such as in which he was uncredited in the films in the original releases. Many of his pictures were westerns. Were enjoyed by a resurgence popularity in the 1940s, and although one account has taken these minor roles, he was forced to do the accepted system starring Decent Living. In all, he appeared in about 50 films before making the jump to TV, the medium that launched him into the world spotlight, Superman. Now, failing to make ends meet with his film career and faced with a divorce, he relocated to New York, where the major networks or fledgling television industry were headquarters. Although he was reportedly skeptical of his ability to, in a new medium, supplant the long entrenched motion picture industry, Reeves put forth his best effort to the TV series, and although to some, the second he strode in confidently, into the interview room, and the producers knew they found their man. Now, Superman and the Mole Man, in which Reeves starred in Superman as Clark Kent, were used to launch the series in 1951 and introduced already familiar comic book to characters to visual audiences. And the film was later edited as a two-part episode for the TV series The Unknown People. And the original film was seldom seen after its initial release, but it appeared on the 2005 DVD in the first season. Now, I'm gonna be frank with y'all. I hate superheroes. I know. But the only ones I really watched was the Fantastic Four. They have a new series on Disney Plus. Um, I tried watching it. I was so bored with it. But in the last thing out, yeah. But I'm not a big superhero person. I just think there's way too many superhero movies out there. Sue me, whatever. My opinion is my opinion. But anyway, let's talk about the Adventures of Superman. The series would begin airing in the following year and continue for a 6 year run, ending after the 1958 season. It was produced by Paramount Television with Whitney Ellsworth, Bernard Luber, and Robert Maxwell as producers, and Harold Stein as director of photography. As Superman, Reeves would worked for low pay even after a star, and it was only paid during the weeks of production. His half-hour films were shot on a tight schedule, at least two shows every 6 weeks. Now he was reportedly astonished when he became an international celebrity, and the show eventually aired in 21 countries and has Superman speaking in three different languages. Although the concept of superheroes on television was a novelty in the early 50s, the character himself was no stranger to the American scene. First conceived by Jay Shuster and the Jerry Siegel in the late 1930s, The Man of Steel was a member of the Action Comics issue number 1 in June 1938. It was an instant hit, one that was spawned into hundreds of superheroes incarnations over the next 65 years. Now, it was a strange visitor. Now, there was also another one, Strange Visitor from Another Planet. Okay, but by the time the TV series was launched, nearly every schoolboy in America knew the Superman Odyssey saga by heart. Born to scientist Jor-El and his wife Laura to the fictitious planet Krypton and his name Kal, the future Superman was launched spaces as a baby and his parents as doomed planet exploding. After a long journey through space, the baby's rocket crashed, landed on Earth, and miraculously survived. And the sun rendered him invulnerable and gave him superhuman powers. He was found shortly after landing and kindly child mindless Midwestern couple Martha and Jonathan Kent. Um, and Kyle wasn't long in astounding his adopted parents to superpowers. He would he was given the name Clark Kent after his mom's maiden name, and he was raised as a normal child in the appropriate town, Smallville. Now, it was a farm town, coincidentally, unlike George Reeves, not like George Reeves' birthplace in Woolstock. Now, let's talk about the daily plan for a second. As Superboy, the young, displaced Kryptonian performed great acts of heroism in red, yellow, and blue superhero costumes with the letter S monogram. Martha Kent would make the costume from the blankets found in the rocket ship that brought Kyle to Earth. He would all know his superpowers, in addition to his extraordinary invulnerability, were such as his ability to fly in great leaps or X-ray vision. Okay, guys, I hate superheroes. I really do. Like, there's too many superhero movies. I don't get it. That's just my personal opinion. Don't hate me. But that is it for this part of the episode. Join me for part 3 and 4 as we talk about Jack Larson, Marketing Bonanza, Tony Mannix, and Lenore Lemons. Y'all have a great day and a happy Thanksgiving. And War Eagle, by the way.